Hello everybody, today I'll be filming another Will I Buy video. This is basically the type of video in which we talk about the newest makeup releases and whether or not I want them and why. And yes, my swivelly chair is swiveling on its own. Very annoying, but that's just how things go around here. But yeah, we're just going to be talking about new makeup releases, and this idea was inspired by Samantha March. I know her name, Samantha March, who is another YouTube creator here on this platform. I love watching her and I highly recommend her channel, which is why I love to give her credit in every single one of these videos. And if you are looking at this person and you don't know who I am, then let me just first introduce myself. Hello, my name is Anya. Clearly. I basically post makeup videos here on YouTube. Right now I'm trying to post makeup videos every single day, and usually these videos range from general commentary on the makeup industry in general, talking about new makeup releases in videos such as this one, talking about trends, giving you guys my opinion on what's happening. I also do reviews, and I also have a very colorful makeup aesthetic. And if you happen to be more interested in that as well, I have an Instagram under the handle Anya and I'm, and on that platform I post photos of looks such as these, and I also post makeup tutorials as well for your convenience on IGTV. Now, you guys know this, but I actually tend to be very hypercritical about new makeup releases, and very rarely does something come up that really just like holds my attention and really makes me intrigued at a first glance. This is basically going to be a new palette from Sugar Pills. So this is supposed to be a palette called the Capsule Collection Pink Edition, and right off the bat the packaging looks completely unique, but what really drew me in were the colors inside. It just seemed to be like a very intriguing collection of pastels and brights, and I was really drawn in. It's not a bad price. It is $42, and I will say this, I'm into it. I'm interested. I would like to see people's reviews first because I tend to not like take too many chances when it comes to this sorts of thing. If I see a brand that I know a lot of people are going to be talking about anyway, I would like to see reviews before I go out and actually purchase that item. But this is definitely something that I was quite interested in. I almost dropped my phone. I was quite interested in it when I first saw it, and I was like, ooh, this is interesting. Let's talk about it. So this is a positive thing. I like this a lot. Too Faced is adding some new additions to the Born This Way collections. So they have a trio compact called the Light Highlighting Palette, and then they also have a Born This Way the Natural Nudes eyeshadow palette. So we actually saw the Born This Way Natural Nudes eyeshadow palette in a sneak peek that was released, I think it was a little bit ago. But these highlighting palettes are relatively new. They have 3 pans, but I'm just going to spare you all the details. I will say this though, recently Too Faced has shown itself to be a just like questionable brand to say the least, and I don't really want to get anything from them at this stage. And honestly, this is not a very difficult decision to make because I don't necessarily have a lot of Too Faced in my collection. I only have a few products and I can use them quietly, but I am not too happy with Too Faced at the moment. And as a result, that opinion just taints my view of virtually every single release that they will be coming out with. I'm pretty sure. And this is just an example. I'm not interested in getting this at all because I do not want to spend money on a brand that has a track record like Too Faced. And I will say this, I think that there is merit in looking at brands objectively, but when it comes to deciding whether or not I want to spend my money on a brand that I actually like and believe in versus a brand I just really despise, I will choose the former, to say the least, because I'm not necessarily spending a lot of money on makeup as it is. And do I need a new nude eyeshadow palette? No. And do I also need a new trio of highlighters? Absolutely not. So this is definitely going to be a pass for the aforementioned reasons. Let's talk about this new launch from Marc Jacobs Beauty. This is going to be the new hydrating coconut lip oil, and this formula is described as being with nutrient-rich coconut and soothing aloe vera, and it's supposed to help relieve dryness for hydrated soft lips. And this is going for $29. I don't want to spend $29 on what is essentially a clear gloss. There are so many more inexpensive options for a really good clear gloss, and I don't need a coconut themed gloss in my collection. I certainly don't need another gloss because I already have so many of them that I'm getting through and I'm loving it, but I don't want to spend any more money on gloss as of now. This is another Valentine's themed launch. This is going to be from OPI Beauty, and this is their new face palette. So I believe they have mostly mattes in here, but these all seem to be like very blush tone shades. And here's my opinion on that. I don't necessarily tend to go for blush. At some point, I was trying to experiment with blush. I was trying to like use some blushes. I was trying to like get back into the blush game, if you will. But I realized rather quickly that I really had no genuine interest in wearing blush because my ideal type of face look is a look that's pretty bronzy, and not a lot of blushes in my mind give me the same look as a bronzer on my cheeks does, you know? I just want to go for like that bronzy look. I don't want to add a blush to my look. I just want to just focus on like getting color on my cheeks that is not necessarily blush. So that's where my style is right now. Also, if you watched my 5 things I'm getting and 5 things I'm not getting in 2020 video, I'll put that on the screen and it will also be on my channel. But that video, in that video, I talked about how I actually am trying to avoid getting face palettes in 2020 simply for the reason that I actually don't use them. I have noticed a significant difference in me using single pans versus palettes whenever it comes to face products. I'm much more likely to reach for a single pan of a product rather than an entire palette. That's just out of habit, and that's something I've noticed, and as a result, I'm going to tailor what I'm buying to fit that habit of mine, if you will. So this is not going to be a palette that I'm going to be getting for those reasons. But moving on, let's talk about this launch from Vanity Makeup. So this is going to be a first product for them. This is basically a selection of sculpting palettes in a multitude of shades. These are going for $39, and apparently this is supposed to be like a cream formula. And this is described as a buttery, rich texture that makes blending easy and simple. Each palette has different undertones and color variations for each skin tone. And each one of these palettes has 3 different formulas. They have a sculpting cream that is supposed to help you sculpt the areas you want to slim/create a shadow with, a highlight cream to highlight the areas you want to pop with, and then a glow cream to use for the areas of your face where you want to illuminate. So I actually really like this concept, and I would consider getting it if this wasn't a face palette and B, a cream palette, because as much as I would love to be Samantha Ravindal with her adoration for cream-based face products and just beautiful glowing skin, I know that that's not me because I personally don't use a lot of face makeup, if at all, on my face on a day-to-day basis. I usually just go completely foundation free, complete like just nothing on my face whatsoever. So as a result, if I did get one of these products, I would only be using it when I'll be filming videos, right? So out of habit, I tend to go for powder products because that's what I'm used to because I have oily skin. So even though this is a really cool concept, I don't think I'd go for this sort of thing because I am not like used to going for creams. As much as I would love to, since I have oily skin, I tend to shy away from them because my oily skin gives me enough glow as it is. Selena Gomez is launching a rare beauty, and this is coming. Grow up, Anya. This is coming summer 2020, and this is going to be exclusive to Sephora and, of course, the website rarebeauty.com. So it has been like sort of like in the wind. Is that the right term? There have been whispers in the wind that Selena Gomez is coming out with her new makeup line, and we've known about this for a while, I guess, if you've been following Trend Mood religiously as I have. But now we actually know the name, and we know a little bit about the thesis of the brand, and basically this brand is all about embracing your imperfections and just being yourself. That pretty much is how I would sum it up based on the many ads that I've seen featuring this brand and Selena Gomez. But this brand will be including makeup, skincare, fragrances, nail products, hair care, body care, and a great deal more. My thing is, Selena Gomez says that she's been working on this for like 2 years. That's like, I don't know, but I feel like that's not a long time to come out with like so many products. So I'm curious, is she gonna be like coming out with them like little by little? I would expect that she would, but then why is she telling us exactly what this brand is gonna be about? I'm curious to know about that. We'll be hearing more about this as we move forward, but as of now, this is all we know. This is all I know. So yeah, let's talk about Bobbi Brown. Now, Bobbi Brown is a brand that I don't necessarily find myself vibing with all the time. I was a really big fan of Bobbi Brown when I was first starting out in makeup. I would constantly read her books. I would always like just like follow or try to follow her tutorials. I really enjoyed them. I learned so much. But now I believe that my style has like just sort of like veered away from what Bobbi Brown tends to like go for in her makeup and in just in her products in general. So I don't necessarily find myself that interested in Bobbi Brown as a brand anymore. I'm pretty sure that's evident. But nevertheless, they are collaborating with an artist by the name of Mora. I'm uncultured, so I don't know these artists. Morag Myerscough. Huh. Definitely a lot of geometric patterns and colors. I will say this, the colors look a little bit lackluster to say the least. Definitely in keeping with Bobbi Brown's makeup aesthetic, but nevertheless, I feel like having a collection that's so bright and so eye-catching at first glance, and then you look further and you realize it's like super neutral. I mean, the colors inside look almost desaturated to me because of how bright the collection is. But we do have a highlighter, an eyeshadow palette, lipsticks, and eyeliner. So a capsule collection, I guess, if you will. But nothing I'm too interested in myself. This is something that I really want to talk about, though. I am probably going to be coming out with a video talking about this tomorrow, I think. But Jaclyn Hill is collaborating with Morphe again, and she's coming out with essentially with what essentially is the second original, well, the part two to the original Morphe palette that she created so many years ago with Morphe that was so iconic. I still have that palette. It is, in my mind, a good palette. Is it something that fits into my style? No. But what Jaclyn Hill and Morphe have done is that they have created a palette that was loosely based off of that palette, but it's supposed to be like a sister palette to that old palette. So basically this palette has like a lot of pinks in it, oranges, purples, really, really rich, warm tones. And it's in the same kind of packaging as the original Jaclyn Hill palette. I have several opinions. I'm going to save a few for tomorrow's video, but I will say this, I'm not going to be getting this because I already have virtually every single color that's featured in this palette already in my collection. And the other reason that I don't want to get this is because I have made it a loose vow that I will not be getting anything from Morphe in the future when it comes to their makeup products, at least. Because their brushes, I still use a lot of their brushes and I really like them. But their makeup, I'm kind of like thinking, okay, I have so much Morphe makeup and I don't even know how I ended up with so much Morphe makeup. And do I use a ton of it? No. I just use the eyeshadow palettes and that's it. And I have other Morphe related products that I haven't even touched. I was on Indie Makeup Spotlight and I was quite intrigued by this launch right here from the brand Terra Moons Cosmetics. These are basically cosmic chameleons, the name of the shadows, and these are all the shades that they have, and they are absolutely beautiful looking. Very, very enticing. See, the thing is, I do want to buy more single shadows in 2020. I really do, because if you guys saw one of the videos I did last week, I basically showed you guys like this enormous Z palette that I have that is filled with single shadows, and I don't use so many of them because so many of them are neutrals, and I just don't naturally gravitate towards neutrals anymore. So I'm just like gonna try and look for like really cool indie brands in particular to get like super interesting formulas from so I can add them to my palette. So I don't know, this might be an option. Ooh, this is also really interesting. Okay, so Shroud Cosmetics is coming out with some Dark Hearts eyeshadow trios. Well, so with the Dark Hearts eyeshadow trio. So this is the Dark Hearts 2 eyeshadow trio, and it is enticing, to say the least. This is really pretty. Okay, I find myself like just torn between the Shroud Cosmetics launch and the Terra Moon Cosmetics launch. Moving on though, let's talk about these palettes from Nomad Cosmetics. So these are the in Encinitas and Malibu, California palettes. If I mispronounced that, I'm very sorry, but these are basically quads, and honestly, from just first glance, it looks like one of these quads has a pop of blue, and then the other quads has a pop of green, and that's it. Upon closer examination, I realized that that's not the case, but that's just like my first impressions. And I will say this, I'm not too interested in getting quads that have like half neutrals and half colorful shades. That's just not my style. That's not what I'm all about, and that's not what entices me. So this is definitely gonna be a pass. Alright, so that is it for this video. We didn't have a lot of makeup releases coming out this week, but I hope you guys enjoyed this video. There was some good things and a few like not so interesting things. Thank you so much for watching till the end, and I will see you all next time. Bye guys.